Rarran and Reynad played through an entire Bazaar run and revealed so many things to us. We're just getting at the tip of the iceberg here, but I promise you, if you want to play the Bazaar in a couple of days, this is the video you need.
You should know, I'm a bit of a legend on Pelago.
We have a lot of information about the drop. I have not watched this yet. I'm watching it live with you guys.
Bazaar. This is Reynad's game that he's been working on for an extremely...
We had a feeling that Rarran was going to do something like this, like play with Reynad, release something nice and early. So yeah, this is likely going to be a more recent version of the client than even I have played. Rarran, I didn't see him once in the testing, but it had been rumored that he was working on something. So yeah, I imagine this to be the most recent version of the client we have seen. So you start a run, as he says, with a choice of item. Here we see we have 3 silver items at the beginning of the day.
Also sells for 2 gold, which I assume will be very relevant.
3 small items. We already know that items sell for half as much as they buy. Skills are powerful passive boosts, that's for certain.
I'm sure we'll get more into this with the actual gameplay itself, but we're going to take a passive.
Right-handed is nice.
That passive goes here, so that's always there. Okay, cool.
Gives him 24 extra damage on his rightmost item, but he only has one, or weapon rather, but he only has one weapon.
Where's my gold? I have 5 gold.
So if he buys another one here, and puts it to the right of his hand axe, then that will get the extra damage. And realistically, you just want to put it on whichever weapon is going to fire fastest.
What is this? What did I buy here?
Here, well, you just bought bowlers.
Oh, now I put it here. Oh, because you have a board space to this, of course. So
yes. Yeah.
Exit this merchant. We're gonna.
I'm glad he's doing the tutorial. It seems like he needs to. And honestly, I will say this. I've played through the little tutorial as well. This is very worth doing. Those of you that have seen the Bazaar from the outside for a while now, it looks very, very complicated. I promise you, it isn't. It's extremely easy. And the tutorial does a really good job of just holding your hand as you click the first few buttons.
Oh my god.
He's starting to fall off in damage here. So he's made the #1 mistake you can make with right-handed. And he's put an ammo item that fires slowly on the right-hand side of hand axe. But the tutorial is nice and easy. The PvE fights are nice and easy, especially early on. So he's not going to be punished for it. Yeah. So you get 1 experience at each little tick on the dial, on the clock.
It looks like you have about 6 events per day.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll enter JJ's shop.
As of the first day, I believe you need 3 bonus experience to hit level 2, if you can find it.
We have to make sure they fit on our board or they go in here, okay? Dragon item to sell the merchant, so we don't need the pelt, so we'll sell here.
What's he gonna? Is he gonna hover everything as well? He is. Perfect. So katana, one of my favorite items. I actually really like katana, mostly just because it's a 2-second weapon, right? Every 2 seconds, attack. 2 seconds is, I believe, the lowest cooldown item available. I could be wrong. There are a bunch of items we haven't seen yet, but of all the items we've seen, 2 seconds is the shortest cooldown you can get. Vanessa can get a 2-second cooldown weapon day 1 right off the bat, and it's only medium size, so it's not massive. So for example, if you put this on the right and benefited from right-handed, which I think is plus 24, you go from dealing 4 damage per 2 seconds to 28 damage per 4 seconds. Per 2 seconds. Compared to the hand axe, which I think is like a 6-second cooldown. So you're effectively like tripling the damage of this skill. It's a 7-second cooldown, so even more so.
Really good with my axe, so I will end up buying it.
And the axe does also give it bonus damage as well. The axe as a passive has plus 2 damage.
There's no room on here, so it'll go into my chest. All right, we're gonna leave the shop. Went to the event, which is an eating.
There is so much to cover here. At this point, and going into the Bazaar as it launches, we are not going to be able to cover every single thing that we see, right? That is just not going to be applicable or possible anymore. So what you guys need to do, get down in those comments. If you have questions, ask them. I will answer them. I have not free reign until the game is actually live, but I will be able to answer most of what I've seen in here. Basically, if it's something that I can see in here, I will answer that question. And then even more so in the Twitch streams when the Bazaar goes live, we will be able to answer every question that you have. So twitch.tv/rtfcr.
Make a choice. I'll just get this. I don't really know what these do yet. Items
What was that, the
appear from your
gumballs?
stash. So this is
No, it was
okay.
chocolate
When you
bars.
sell this, gain
They just give you max health.
Okay, so if I know
So
one,
you
I
just
get 10.
drag it up
Okay.
and you sell each
At the end
one,
of the
and
day,
each one
you
he
fight
sells
enough
gives him 10
people.
maximum
So
health.
This is a player. Hello. All right. I can't lose.
Is it
my
nice and
first game,
tanky?
right? There's no way. Sure.
I mean, this is not a player. This is a tutorial ghost.
I don't even know what this guy's doing.
So we hovered there. Textiles. Textiles is like a weird shielding Healy item. I'm not a massive fan of it. Blue Nanas, however, are fantastic because they're very easy to obtain. I'll say that much. They're not really that good. 9 seconds heal for 10. But when you sell this, gain 20 max health. It's basically double a chocolate bar.
What the hell is this build, bro? Shield prevents incoming damage. Then obviously,
Yeah, he's just running a shield build. Once again, we still have our bowlers on the far right-hand side. Man, positionals are so important in the Bazaar. Or just like your general like ordering and setup. Like I said, this skill he has, this right-handed skill, the first skill you get is tier 3. It's the third strongest tier you can get. Sorry, the second strongest tier, third from the bottom. There is bronze, silver, gold, diamond tier for items and skills. You get given a gold tier skill right off the bat. He picked right-handed, which is so good with Katana, if Katana is on the right side of your board. But hey, he's learning. You guys are learning as well. But I am here to make sure you guys don't make these mistakes.
Not using your money correctly, shake my...
So this is good for me to see that items back. So friends and family tests, not all of the items were always available, right? They were working on some, they'd taken some out to respec them, rebalance them, whatever. Beta, I expect us to have the full collection, even if they know some of them aren't properly balanced. Hopefully they don't only leave the under-tuned ones in. Yeah, Life Preserver, saw a long time ago, didn't see in the most recent test. It's back again. Langjan, just one of my favorite weapons because of its pure simplicity. Medium weapon at silver tier because this is his first event. Deals 25 damage every 10 seconds, but the important thing is when you win a fight with Langjan, it gains plus 50 damage every time you win a fight. And that can be PvE or PvP. If you get this at bronze, I believe it's 25 damage bonus. But yeah, leveling up Langjan is really, really good. If you can get this to gold or diamond, you are absolutely flying. The general strat with Langjan, you pick it up day one if you can get it, and then you take every single PvE fight you possibly can because there are some extra events that let you take them. So yeah, I really enjoy the Langjan build. There'll be some guides and stuff coming out on that. On the channel soon. Subscribe for more.
Longer fight, but I feel like for the majority of fights early on, I just want to get some gold and get some...
Cutlass is also fine. It deals double damage with crits.
Personally, by design, the cards are like relativistically powerful, or they're like contextually
Absolutely.
powerful.
So, effectively, he's probably going to say the same thing here, but it's a react, and if I let him say everything, this is just Rarran's video. So, Langjan's great, right? But if you're already going to build together, and it's a very tanky build, so you're playing like a tanky Vanessa, you're focusing on shielding and healing and maximum health, adding a Langjan to that later on is probably not the wisest idea, and adding a Cutlass isn't going to help you at all. But adding a Life Preserver, which is all about shielding and healing, that fits in perfectly. So if you're running a tanky Vanessa build, Life Preserver is like, I don't know the specifics, he didn't hover it, but it's like at least like a B tier item, right? Whereas Langjan and Cutlass are like D or F tier, because they're not really helping you, or they're not really synergizing with the other stuff you have. Whereas if you're running a weapon build, then Langjan or Cutlass are a lot higher. And then in that sort of breakdown, Langjan, I would normally say, just on a general tier list, is above Cutlass in my experience. But if you're running a big crit build, and you're on day 9, you're not going to take a Langjan at day 9, because it's not going to have time to scale anymore. So like there always are these different reasons for picking up other items. It is definitely not, compared to other games like TFT or Hearthstone or whatever, there is not a very obvious sort of tier list of items. That being said, we will be making tier lists of items, but with all of this in mind.
Depending on the other stuff you have.
Yeah, I noticed from doing the tutorial, like, there was a lot of self-balancing, it felt like. Like, some builds just outright crushed me, but then other ones I just destroyed. Which is, it's kind of a cool way of, like, not having a meta while also having one. Because, like, you know what's inherently strong with your build, but it doesn't mean that's going to be good against the across the field, which is, like, a good way of getting excited for...
Yeah, effectively. Like there is some degree of self-balancing. There's a bit of rock, paper, scissors that goes on, which means there's going to be a little bit of RNG. For example, if you're running a big shielding build, poison's going to kick your ass because poison goes through shields. However, if you're running a big shielding build and you have some way of weaponizing your shields, then you're going to crush the ever-living daylights out of every poison build because they have no way of breaking your shield. So yeah, there is this rock, paper, scissors type of format. If you're going all in on a build, which most of the time you will because you want to build high synergy, some of the matches might just not be winnable. But you have 20 prestige. You have opportunities to lose and still go for that 10-win run. So yeah, it does balance itself out.
Against another player.
Both in terms of meta and in terms of not getting screwed by RNG matchups.
This is fine, but we don't have a ton of weapons. I kind of like this one. Let's grab this. Start scaling this up. Okay.
Left eye, I think that is right. That's crit chance on his leftmost weapon.
Silver items and gold items. I believe there's also diamond. Those are like the.
There are item tiers, absolutely.
Of the item itself.
Yeah, I like it.
I can't see his gold, so I don't know if him going silver was the right play here. But this is something important to mention when thinking about your build. So, day one, you click on Vanessa's hideout or whatever the Pygmalion and Dooley options are. This is more important for Vanessa and Pygmalion than Dooley. You get given a silver item, right? That is a tier 2 item. That is 2 bronze items smashed together. It is going to be stronger than everything else you find on day one, right? It's going to be worth about 8 gold because that's what these silver items are worth in front of you. That item will partly define your build for at least day one because it is so much stronger than everything else you're seeing, and you cannot get silver items day one. So later on in your run, say it's like day 5 or day 6, if you go to JJ, a standard ass merchant, he will offer you silver items because you're at that tier of item, right? I don't know if it's attached to level or day, but as they both sort of go up at the same time because you get XP as you go around the clock. I'm not sure. But regardless, later on in your run, you will just get given silver items, right? Straight off the bat. This early on, you will only see bronze items. So you have 2 ways of getting a silver item, day 1, day 2. One way is to get a duplicate bronze item of an item you already own and combine them into a silver item. Great, perfect, okay. But then you've committed twice to that item. It still might be the right choice for you, definitely worth it, but it's a big commitment. The second way you can get a silver item in day 1 or 2 is to go see Sterling. Sterling is a merchant that you can see or find on day 1 and 2, and later on in the run, who sells you silver items. So, unlike the first one you get, this won't be free. So this is a big investment, but if you don't like any of the other options on that encounter, on that hour, you can absolutely go to Sterling and be like, hey, maybe he's got an item that can define my build because I didn't like my silver item that I got at the beginning, or maybe I do like my silver item, but I don't like any of these other events, so I'm going to go to Sterling, and if he gives me the perfect item, fantastic. Heck, if Sterling gave him a silver Langjan here, we would be really cooking. But he didn't. He gives him a repeater, a wheel, and a shell.
And take cards and stuff to get stronger along the way.
I'm not going to say the exact names of items. Like, yeah, okay, I could have told you it was Captain's Wheel and Turtle Shell, but I don't know he's going to hover it, and technically, I don't want to break any NDAs out here. Not that it'll matter because it's just the name of an item. So yeah, Turtle Shell gives your items +3 shield for the fight, and when you use another non-weapon, shield 10. Very fun item. Vanessa has a couple of these. These are how you can play like tanky Vanessa. And then Captain's Wheel. Every 4 seconds, haste adjacent items for 1 second, and when you use a large item, use this. So this, works quite well with large items. You stick a large item either side of Captain's Wheel. Large items are using the Captain's Wheel, which is hasting the large item, which is making them trigger more regularly, which is then making Captain's Wheel trigger more regularly. There's your combo. Captain's Wheel is something else I want to highlight here. This is every 4 seconds, haste adjacent items for 1 second. When you use a large item, use this. In my experience, and this is my experience before I got to play as well, nothing went lower than 1 second. So we can infer from that Captain's Wheel is at base tier a silver item. And there are many items like this that you can only get at silver or gold or even diamond tier, so you cannot see them until later on. Captain's Wheel is one of these because there would not be such a thing as a bronze Captain's Wheel that hasted adjacent items for 0.5 of a second, right? And also in my experience, I've never seen the cooldown of an item change by leveling, but I could be completely wrong. Could be talking my ass about that. Regardless, I'm pretty sure, or at least this is a good example of a baseline silver item, something you can only get at silver tier. I wonder what he'll go for. Probably the repeater.
But yeah, that's the idea.
The next fight, I believe, is the
maybe the Captain's Wheel. Like the Captain's Wheel is okay. Cool. I was gonna say it's 4 seconds for haste. Like it's not terrible.
Okay, so
but the repeater's just more damage, and the repeater has some very nice combos.
In the tutorial, they kind of go through it a little bit, but I was curious of the thought process here. So the first one, they're all level 1, right? And then as you go more into your days, I noticed that some are like inherently insane.
Yeah. So when you're picking your PvE fights, which is the middle hour, the clock hasn't moved yet. The clock moves when you click a thing. I'm not sure I like that. I think I would have preferred the clock to move when you finish your previous action, but I'm sure they do it for some reason I haven't thought of. Day 1, you get 3 level 1 enemies, PvE enemies to fight, right? But from there onwards, you'll typically have the one in the middle will be the same level as you. The one on the left will be a lower level than you, and the one on the right will be a higher level than you. I'm not sure if it's you or like the average level for that day. But regardless, you'll have a medium, low, and high difficulty opponent. Is effectively what I'm trying to say, which will be shown by their level. That being said, not all PvE encounters are created equal. There are some very difficult ones. So yeah, going forward, you'll be picking your encounter largely based on, well, you'll always be picking the encounter based on the rewards you can get, which in day 1 is 3 gold, 1 experience, and 1 of their items or skills. In future days, higher level NPCs will give you more shit. So if this was a level 2, you'd get 4 gold instead of 3. I don't know if that's true. It might be 5. Can't remember. Regardless, you'll be, in most future days, wanting to fight the hardest opponent you think you can beat, because that's how you're going to get the most rewards. Day 1, you simply just fight whichever one you know you can beat, which all day 1 level 1 enemies are very, very easy to beat. There are many you can beat without a single item with 100 health, and just let the sandstorm kill them. That being said, you'll want to make sure you will win, and you'll pick whichever one you think you're going to benefit from getting that item the most.
They're like a strategy.
This is one of the prime examples of a learned system in the Bazaar. There are many, many, many things in the Bazaar that you will just be better at once you've played it a few times and you know the thing. So I know off the top of my head every item that all 3 of these encounters can offer me. Therefore, if I'm running this build, I know exactly which of these 3 I would go to. And I'll tell you, I'd go to the one on the right, but I'm not going to tell you why.
Take a huge risk. I guess it just depends on your build.
These are actually all pretty bad encounters for this build. Because there are a bunch of level 1 encounters, right? This is another good example of this, right? Just the sheer level of options and variants across the Bazaar. This is your day 1 first PvE fight. And for this exact build, if I could have picked my encounter, I wouldn't have picked any 3 of these, because there is a wide pool of level 1 monsters that you would pretty much only see right now. They put so much time into designing, having art made for, balancing and tweaking a bunch of level 1 monsters that you will only see right now. That is how much effort and polish has gone into this game.
I want to fight the stronger monster. They give more experience, better rewards. For this first fight, they're all pretty much the same reward-wise. They just have different items. What's cool about the Bazaar is when you beat a monster, they have items just like you do, and you
get some of their shit.
Or you could even take their skill. And so I kind of go to the monster.
And there's a lot of cool shit that you can only get from monsters, which is very cool.
No wrong answers. They're all kind of equally good for you. I like the Viper. It has probably the best standalone item. It has a Poison Fang, which is pretty good if you high roll it early.
That's true.
It has some wings that are pretty good, that lower your cooldown and stuff. Any of the
There you go. So he told you. Yeah. So the reason why I wanted to go to Kyber Drone is because Kyber Drone has a, I think it's called Insect Wings, but it's a little item that can, I'm going to say, affect your cooldowns because I don't want to say anything wrong. But yeah, they can help make your things fire faster. And Langjian has quite a long cooldown. It's 10-second cooldown. So anything you can do to reduce its cooldown is fantastic. But he is right, the Cobra does have a very good standalone item.
It's prettiest half the time. Even a legend, if I'm being honest, could be the skill instead.
Alright, so he picks the Viper.
This is an easy fight for sure.
So he's looking to high roll this Fang, which has 3
so he's like
damage and 2 poison
I think it's
on a fairly quick
possible
cooldown.
This is the first fight, I would hope. I have no-
Oh damn, this thing has 100 health.
But you know, it may or may not have happened many times.
Oh, but we had 200
We
health.
keep changing the health numbers around on these guys, so I play 1 week and they're just all OP and crushing me, and I'm
Yeah, so when I fought these guys, the day 1 monsters had like 14 health or something. They would die to like a soft breeze. But I also started on 100 health. We're now starting on 200 health, and the enemies have 100. So,
right now, yeah, they're pretty beatable, I think. For
all right, he got a gland. When you sell this, gain +2 regeneration. There are a lot of neutral items in this game. These little small neutral items like this. I could think they're called loot items. That when you sell it, you get a thing. Usually some sort of passive benefit. So this one, gland, when you sell this, gain +2 regeneration. So this is like a little trophy that you get from NPCs, like PvE fights, that is purely there to be sold, which I like, because it means even if you don't want anything from any of the encounters you go to, if your build is full, you've got no space for anything, you can always get a thing that is meant to be sold to get a benefit. Other people will be getting better shit if you're just doing that, but still.
I feel like it'd be an absolute.
Hey, look, our Langjian's 75 damage now.
This is the very first mob. All right,
After one fight, our Langjian
Nice, so we'll grab that. I can't use
gained,
it
what,
on
like
my,
200%
what's this
damage?
thing called, like your carpet?
yeah, rug.
Your carpet, rug.
Okay. Yeah, so
We call them different things.
Level up your carpet gets
Board.
bigger, so we don't have the space for it, but you guys do have this very nice stash feature. Yeah, Hearthstone Battlegrounds doesn't have this feature, and I'm sure a lot of people would absolutely love to have like a stash feature and just be able
Stashes
to
are great.
their units there.
You would also never put gland
rather than, like,
on
making
your
the
board.
decision, 'cause,
I say never, like you
Hearthstone
could,
is the highest
it just doesn't have an
score
active
to
ability.
sell a unit in
And it doesn't have a
like,
passive that
Hearthstone
benefits you in
Battlegrounds.
combat.
So this does alleviate
Because
a
it
lot of
literally just
of
means,
the
just wants to be sold.
floor, like context of what you mentioned, and I'm guessing you can answer this question, but the art is just not fully colored in yet. This will be fully colored in like full release.
Correct, yeah. We wanted to have a bigger pool of encounters, and this is a beta. Crip overhyped how polished this is. There's some black and white art. It's a proper beta.
So Crip didn't overhype the polish. Crip nailed the level of polish. The level of polish is fantastic. But they're just like finishing more of it, right? Like the level of the artwork is like an 11 out of 10. Is all of the artwork done? No. This game is going into a closed beta, just barely leaving an alpha. Like, no, not all of the art is done. The level of the visual effects of some items, I'm looking at you, Boulder and Dam, is like a 20 out of 10. But those are, off the top of my head, and the only, as far as you guys know, the only ones like that we have. So yeah, the level of polish is astonishing. The amount of polish is not quite there yet.
Already have final art in the dev build, just not quite in here yet. But yeah, you'll see it all come in by the official launch.
I also want to pay attention to this because we've seen this in the most recent build that was different from the build that I played. In the build that I played, you had merchant on the left, event in the middle, random free shit on the right. Every time. In one of the most recent trailers, we saw merchant on the left and events in the middle and the right. So
January.
Okay, cool.
this is merchant event
we don't
random
have
shit.
Space in the carpet right now, so we could go check out weapons. I'm just gonna see what they have for skills.
Nufu's great.
About a gold for it too. It looks
Apologies if you hear my
great.
neighbor renovating their
We
house
actually
next
have a
door.
Poison item from the snake itself. So
What was that? You can see me hyper-focusing on things that I don't know. As in things that have been introduced since I played it. Paralytic poison. The first time you poison each fight and freeze an item for 3 seconds. That's okay.
this isn't that great for me at the moment.
Like at the moment, like if you had poison, right? If you were running a poison build, in fact, if an enemy ran a poison build into this, and he throws one of these items for 3 seconds, that's half this build that isn't doing something for 3 seconds. It's kind of crazy.
We can make this deal more damage. Damage is
He'll probably just take left-handed, because there's no reason not to take any of the others. Left-handed, by the way, is exactly the same as right-handed. This is something I consistently praise the Bazaar about, and you'll be seeing in our gameplay as and when we release that. But the Bazaar has done a fantastic job of making you learn a thing and then rewarding you for knowing that thing in other ways. For example, you took the right-handed skill in your tutorial. You know that right-handed at gold tier buffs your rightmost weapon by 24 damage, right? Then your first actual run, you see left-handed in a shot. Before you hover that, you know what that does. You know what left-handed does already because you've seen right-handed. It just does the same thing on the other side, right? And you absolutely are correct. And there are so many, especially skills, there are so many skills like that. My favorite one is righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. If anyone can figure out in the comments, before the Bazaar is released, and I'm not you assholes who have played in Friends and Family, anyone want to guess in the comments what the skills righty-tighty and lefty-loosey can do? And I'll tell you day one if you got it.
Completely unique. It feels like every single day. I'm sure we'll see like the same one over.
So here we go again. We've got, and this is this is not a perfect example. I was about to say. So we've got merchant, event, random thing. The event in the middle, this is an event. This isn't a fight. That is a UI bug or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, it looks like a combat. And I was going to be like, oh, perfect. He should go here because then his Langzhang can get a boost. But no, they...
like there's stuff like this. Like you
that's
found
not
a
a
strange
combat.
mushroom in the green heart, right? Do you mind like going through the thought process of like what this is? Like I'm guessing it's your character going on a quest outside.
This time mushrooms.
We're not going in. We're not going into the lore of...
So they're gonna pick one of
This
these.
isn't a lore video. There is so much to go
So
over.
let's see what the strange mushroom is. Okay. And then we have gain a skill, gain some money. And
The
gain
visual effects they've added to
This
these
is
are a lot
another great
prettier now.
question, actually. Experience feels like it's really, really good to get as much as you can because every time you get an experience, you get an additional reward, which we'll see very shortly. For
Every time you level
haven't
up,
seen them yet.
you get an
I
additional
actually
reward.
really like taking XP. Do you have like any favorite things you like to pick early on, like gold maybe, or do you want to just get the skill?
Usually I eat the mushroom. I like the skills, but
I would agree. I would take the skill here, and here's my reason why. 1 XP. We're going to use a different event that... I'm going to use an arbitrary event that you may or may not see throughout this video. Let's say there's an event that sells you... Actually, we've seen an event that sells you skills. Let's say there's also an event that sells you XP. The event that sells you skills, for a bronze skill, we just saw it, Nufu, it costs you 3 gold per skill. So eat it is going to give you 3 gold worth of a thing. The option in the middle was gold. That was 2 to 4 gold. Okay, so we could high roll and get 4. That's more than a skill. We could low roll and get 2. That's less than a skill. We could get 3. The item on the right, gain 1 XP. There are many, many, many ways of getting 1 XP without spending any gold. So that's worth 0 gold. The only time I would take that 1 XP is if I was 1 XP away from a level before a PvP fight. Because that's realistically the only time your levels really matter is for PvP. Because you're going to gain health, and as they say, you're going to get a free thing. And that free thing might help you with the fight. But we are never going to hit level 2 before the first PvP fight. So I would be weighing up the skill or the money. I think I've taken them both equally. I think every time I took the skill, I got a skill that just did not help me.
Any of these are good. I don't know. You're broke. Maybe take the money.
All right, we'll eat the mushroom. We'll eat the mushroom. I like that.
Yeah, there you go. He got a burning and freezing skill. This is my luck with this event as well. The first time you burn each fight, freeze lamp for 3 seconds. By the way, you know what this skill does because you saw the poison version of it. The poison version had a different name, obviously. But as you read it, you can understand it because you've seen a similar version before. You don't have to reprocess it all for the first time.
So it is important to note that we don't have any burn. You can't sell these skills as far as I'm aware, right?
You can't. Yeah, we used to have a limited amount, and you had to replace them. But yeah, you can just stack them infinitely right now.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
cool.
so we still get infinite stacking skills. Good to know.
First real player. So at the end of each day, we go against the real player.
Who's he fighting?
All right.
No idea who this is.
This is Derek, our design director.
All right, Derek.
Oh, Design director, damn.
Like Derek's about to get speared is what's about to happen.
Okay, good. Yeah, we need to win this for sure.
Yeah, Langjan is
Stronger and
strong.
stronger. All right, what has he got?
Yeah, this is nothing.
Is there already? This is something that I'm actually very curious on. Is there something that will give you like a recap of what happened this game? Like,
yeah, that's coming, but it won't be in the closed beta that you guys play. That's coming open beta, we hope. But maybe at the latest January. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, two important things there. One, I was completely wrong. Pop Snappers popped off the burn item, and that's partly because of this burn skill he has here. Off the top of my head, I can't remember which burn skill it is, but even if I could, I couldn't tell you. Second of all, we have confirmation they are working on a fight recap. Not going to be for closed beta. Fight recap coming open beta.
Because as you can
maybe
tell, we got absolutely crushed. So it'd be like, as a player, it'd be really cool to like actually see.
He didn't
what
hover
happened,
again.
so I can learn
So.
and figure out what was bad with my
Here we have merchant event free shit.
build or what they were doing so well. But yeah, if that's coming, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I wonder if the version we saw, so the free shit, obviously they're waiting for art for the free shit because they haven't finished any art. All the grey art is on the far right hand side where the free shit is. I wonder if the version we saw, in order to make it look prettier for their like trailers, they just got rid of all the free shit events because the art wasn't done. So they just had merchant event and then something with art. And I wonder if that's completely thrown us. It must be. It must be.
It's one of the highest priority things missing right now. You do the fight and it just moves forward. But yeah, it'll stop, show you the numbers that all your cards did on the surface of them.
So yeah, get a non-weapon
all
item.
that stuff.
Okay, sick. Okay.
In the middle is
So
another
we
just
got
random event, and then
small,
Quixel.
medium item,
Quixel's one of my favorite merchants,
Rune.
voice acting
We
wise.
can get a non-weapon.
She's
We're
great.
almost gonna level up. Does the level up happen at the end of this event, or does it happen when I click?
It should be as you're exiting the event.
Okay.
that you go
Yeah.
into.
It should be the end of the hour.
Yeah, that'll get cleaned up. It'll be more clear in the future.
Oh no, I was more asking because it might actually change my decision drastically here, right? Because like if when my carpet gets bigger, because when you do level up for the first couple of turns, this does get bigger.
I mean, it
It's
wouldn't
like,
change
oh,
it because you
maybe
could just
you're
put it in the
gonna need an
stash.
additional item.
But
Treasure, your Vanessa gain a small item, 25 max health, and one. All right, we got coral. You buy an aquatic item, be really nice.
Corals and
Okay, all right. Well, we got crushed last time.
all right, he went and got a random item.
Would be really nice.
Level up time.
corals underrated. You know, no one gives it respect. Everyone just drafts the knives and the guns when they play Vanessa. But I don't know. I do control Vanessa. I think it's pretty good actually.
Why would you heal when you can kill them? I don't understand.
Coral's good. I like control Vanessa.
Raymond, do you really want to win, or would you rather make them suffer? What's more important?
So yeah, here are our level up benefits. The one on the left you saw was get a random ammo item, so it could give us like another repeater. The one in the middle was get 2 XP, and the one on the right I think was just get an aquatic item. And this is normally what it is. It's just like get an item, get a thing, upgrade a thing.
It's actually perfect game design if you think about it. You're never frustrated. You solved Hearthstone's biggest problem.
Yeah, best.
There are so many things I want to add to the level up system that I can't tell you yet. But know that there is some depth to this.
Reynad instead of Blizzard.
What? It's not the same thing as ammo item.
Okay, he took an ammo item, he got some throwing
Sure
knives.
that you could sell these whenever. You can put this in.
Yeah, you can throw whenever you like.
Sterling still.
And now the repeater, which I believe we saw triggers when you use an ammo item, will now trigger when he uses his throwing knives.
So is there like a guaranteed price that I should know going into
Yes.
this? Like I only have 6 gold.
I mean,
Is
kind
it
of.
even worth clicking on that?
So, guaranteed prices. You can see based on your own stuff because you buy for twice the cost that it costs you, right? So if he goes to Sterling, he's only going to see silver items. So he knows if he sees a silver medium item, it will cost him 8 gold. You also know that items double in price every time they tier up. So when you tier up a small bronze item to a small silver item, it will cost 2 gold. Which means to buy a small silver item from Sterling will cost you 4 gold, which he can apparently afford because he's got 5 or something. So if he went to Sterling here, he'd only be able to buy small silver items. These are eventually just numbers you remember. Like, you don't have to do the maths every single time. But it's there to sort of help you.
Think about money in this game isn't just how much money do I have right now. It's like, what's my
How much
net
money
worth?
could you have?
'Cause in theory, you could sell all your stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so he could go to Sterling and say he got offered a large silver item, which I know costs 7. A large silver item costs him 7. 7? Why did I say 7? A large silver item cost him 12. I don't know where I got 7 from. If he's got 5 gold now, though, he could sell, what's that, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He couldn't quite sell these 3 to get it. But for a medium item, he could. For a medium item, you could just sell the repeater and swap it out. You don't really want to sell your Langjan if you're getting a good amount of value out of it. But maybe that's just me. Maybe he sees a silver large item that he really, really, really likes and just sells the whole lot.
So you have like 16 gold to play with total.
Okay,
it's not
yeah.
good to sell your stuff. You lose money doing that sort of. But yeah, with how much money you have,
Yeah, you get a free friend, or you can go to a random event. The random events are very random. They're not always gonna help you in the way that you want them to. So you find an abandoned chest. That's going to be an abandoned chest. That's going to be, you don't want to know what's in that chest. I don't even need to tell you what the event does for you to understand that an abandoned chest could have anything inside of it. Sterling will give you a silver item. Well, sell you a silver item. And the thing on the left will give you a friend. I think it was a friend.
They're good. There'll always be
get a friend.
Later.
Okay, and what is a friend?
A friend is a type of card. It's a subtype of card.
Oh, like aquatic.
Yeah, like if you hover over any of your cards on top there, it's a small aquatic. Friend is another type like that.
Okay. So it will take space up on our carpet. I mean, we can see what it is, sure.
Yeah, it's basically
Trained spider. Yeah, so this is something that Crip alluded to. These things on the right, these freebies, can insanely pop off because you're not limited to just Vanessa stuff. You see the trained spider next to the name trained spider. It has this icon. This isn't the icon of any of the heroes. This isn't the Vanessa icon, right, that you see when you hover over any Vanessa item. This is a neutral icon. So he pulled this from a pool, a massive pool of friends that Vanessa can have, and got one from a neutral. So this is something that normally you can't get. Now, this is one of those neutral items that are better for selling, or at least good for selling, because when you sell this, give your leftmost item poison.
like getting money, right? Because it gets your stash, and then you could sell it right away, even if you don't like it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still money.
So we don't have any poison. We'll just keep it there for the time being. And that sells for how much? Gold 1? Okay. So now we can...
Ah, my boy, the Covetous Thief. Okay, so now we're going to see a pretty good example of a medium, low, and high difficulty encounter. Covetous Thief, level 3 encounter, 4 gold, 2 experience, 1 of his things.
Probably see the difference.
Coconut Crab, level 2 encounter, 3 gold, 2 XP, 1 of its things.
Yeah, so this one's level 2, this one's level 3, this one's...
And then the Rogue Scrapper, 5 gold, 3 XP, 1 of its things. And this continues throughout the whole game. This is the normal sort of way that it is done.
Level 4, and then the difference in gold is +1 for each one, and +1 XP. All right, we're level 2. How confident are you feeling about fighting this guy?
I think you can take
Very.
weaker guys.
Well, if Covetous Thief hasn't changed, very. I love Covetous Thief. It was one of my favorite encounters, probably my most visited encounter over both tests that I got to play in.
I'm told the crab is OP lately.
Covetous Thief has changed for sure.
Okay. Good
Not by a massive amount though.
What's so OP about the crab?
I don't know what this
I
item
don't
does.
know. People keep getting clawed and complaining about it in Slack. I don't know.
Yeah, now that you're on the reverse end of complaining or seeing the complaints, how do you feel about that?
Glad I hated Twitch chat before.
Does he lose? No.
I'm gonna try not to do too
He's
much
only got 2 health. He's
Rarran.
dead.
It's what's best for our relationship with the
Yeah,
player.
you're right. You are right.
So this item was obviously buffing this knife.
All right, nice. What
So it's a little utility item. But he got one of the skills. This is something you can get from the NPCs. So pickpocket at the start of each fight, gain 1 gold. That's why I love Covetous Thief. Because when you beat Covetous Thief, he's just going to give you something that helps you get more money. And more money, more good, especially early on. Also, our Langjan now 125 damage.
Fight, gain 1 gold. That is very good to get. Regeneration items. No, we don't need that. Aid the convoys and navigating dangerous mountains.
Love the convoy
That's
event.
like a random event, and then we get a shield item. Again, we don't really have the carpet space for this, but this could be interesting.
Do it.
I want to take more of the random events just to show people what they
Yes.
possibly could be.
Okay. Well, I'll let him hover it before I tell you. There we kind of
There's a
go.
lot of options here.
Channing Rarran. I just want to feel something.
Yeah.
In the wheel.
Okay, so gaining 2 income this early on day 2 is really, really great.
2 income is nice. I do this one quite regularly. You Spend 1 money, you
Starting
get 2
each day,
income.
We'll get an extra 2 gold, which could be very, very helpful later on if we last, but we do have to spend 1 gold now. Anything could happen. So when it says anything could happen, that is amongst the options available, or is there even more that's behind the scenes?
So that's a unique. This is the first type of spell we're testing like this. That option used to give you a fight every time,
Damn it.
and now there's a bucket of random things that could happen. Some of them are fight.
Right, okay. So I used to constantly go to escort the caravan, and then I would go to the Mountain Pass event. I would escort the convoy, and then I'd get a bonus PvE fight, and my Langjam would get 50 more damage. That's why I love this event, because you could have a bonus PvE fight in the middle of your day. But now it's random. They probably saw a large spike of people just going here and doing that. So it was OP. So they've changed it, and this is something they can do. They can be very flexible with their events, which I really like. So now you go to the escort convoy, and you could get a PvE fight, but you could get something else. It's risky.
That are easy. Some are fights that are way too hard. Sometimes you just get experience. Nothing happens.
Okay, so it's definitely risky then, because we're offering 5 gold or 2 XP, or 2 gold and 1 XP. Both of these are just very consistent. This is very good for late game. I mean,
Risk it.
Let's spin the wheel. Okay.
1 XP, uneventful.
Thanks a lot,
Okay,
Rarran.
I see how that's working. I don't hate that. I think that's much better. Like, it was too easy to just go and
It's your fault for low rolling.
get a free fight.
We could gain 1 XP. I mean, we're gonna get 1 XP anyways after this decision anyway, so it's fine.
I believe if he gets the 1 XP here, he hits the next level before the next fight, which I would have liked.
Start
But
skilling items a little bit. I think one of the things that will happen as I play this game more is understanding how powerful I should be at each given day.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I feel like we're kind of doing all right. This was a very good decision to take. Let's
I think honestly, I think all 3 options here are good.
I feel like the passive abilities are very nice.
The passive abilities are very
They get way
nice.
stronger at gold tier.
Yeah, so you can upgrade.
So these are all bronze tier skills. You can tell by the border. On the bottom left, you have that one that gives crit. That's a gold tier skill that you are.
So here, when he's hovering left-handed, your leftmost weapon deals +4, arrows +12. He already has it, right? He already has left-handed. So this is telling him that when he upgrades it by buying it, and it becomes a silver item, or a silver skill, it goes from doing +4 to +12, which would be nice. It also does this fancy little thing where it shiny hovers, or like there's like a shiny border around the thing that it's affecting.
Already have.
Okay, yeah, right here, the left eye one. Yeah.
Your leftmost item has +15 crit chance, which, by the way, is currently his coral.
Gold tier, the effects are like way stronger. There's some skills that only start at gold tier. Everyone plays this game differently. It's sort of like, what kind of style are you into? A bunch of people avoid the skills until the gold ones show up, and they only want high tier skills. So some players end the game with like 4 skills. Some players end the game with 20, or like 15.
I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't necessarily avoid the skills early on. There are some skills I look for early on, but I'm definitely more of a gold tier and above skill person.
Just kind of depends what you.
But once I get to gold tier and above skills, I'm spamming skills.
Okay, cool. So there actually is no metagame whatsoever here then. Or I guess maybe it just hasn't been found yet. But that's cool to see, like there's so many.
There are metagames. We've had some metagames, but I've said this to people in comments and in Discord and stuff. Every time we've had a metagame so far, like a true metagame where everyone is playing the same thing, it has lasted a few, maybe just a few hours before people then just start playing the thing that counters it. It's like the rock, paper, scissors thing I was talking about before, right? If everyone is spamming, let's say Langjan, because Langjan is OP right now, Langjan being OP means it's really good generally. But if you're playing if you know of a build that is, or at least a hero that is particularly strong against Langjan, then you can just try and go for that. Forcing builds are hard, don't get me wrong, but if a meta is so predictable, and there is not necessarily an obvious counter, but a way to abuse the meta that's being used, then you can start to force builds, right? So it's kind of self-correcting in that way, where if everyone is trying to play the same thing, it makes it easier to play the thing that's good against it. So then people stop playing it as much, right? Because they're losing runs because they're going against its counter. Then they start playing some other things, and then it broadens again. And then you can't get away with forcing that build because you're not getting free wins against your counter anymore. So it broadens again until a new meta is found, and then it'll shrink, and then it'll broaden again. So yeah, I think there are going to be these windows where the metas sort of start to develop, but I think it should self-correct pretty quickly.
Game. Me personally, I like upgrading, so I'm gonna take that.
Like there will be a meta, but you can't opt into it. That's the part we fixed. You know, like in Hearthstone, if you know what the best deck is, you can just choose to play it before the game starts. In the Bazaar, even if you know what the best thing in the meta is, you have no guarantee of finding it and no way of finding it. And so every run, you're kind of like rolling with the punches. Like
I will say the only times there have been in the entirety of my 2 tests, there were 2 little mini windows of meta, and both times it was that a general synergy or build was slightly stronger than the rest, right? So it didn't matter exactly what weapon or what item or whatever you got, because the general like way of playing that particular hero was relatively strong. As I said, they still got countered. That's still self-corrected. But yeah, as Reynad's saying, if there is one item that is god tier dummy broken as hell, like you can't get it. There's no way, especially as they're adding more and more events, it's even harder to get it.
grabbing the best stuff you see.
So yeah,
I mean, it will hopefully make it for a very healthy game, right? This guy's spear sucks.
hey, so the other Vanessa has a silver Langjan. Sorry, a bronze
I
Langjan.
guess we'll see after everyone gets their hands on this.
And a katana that
So
keeps
we
getting
did
stronger.
a lot, right? Like at least with like Hearthstone
Oof, but our Langjan back.
they only have so many developers
Destroys.
on the team, right?
Yeah, usually upgrading makes stuff like almost twice as strong.
Oh wow, I didn't see when he got that.
Stronger now. Scales. Yeah, usually upgrading makes stuff.
Just taking
Oh,
it to
here
the
we go.
next, like,
So he leveled up.
Right? So this would go to gold, I think. All right, I'm gonna grab.
So leadership, upgrade your leftmost weapon. Fantastic. We want Langjan to upgrade.
It's like way stronger now. Scales. Yeah, usually upgrading makes stuff like almost twice as strong.
Okay, that is
Hover it. Hover it, you coward. So now when you win a fight with Langjan, gain 75 damage. So it was 25, then 50, now 75. Funnily enough, if you get a diamond, it's probably 100.
that is
And that's not double. So like bronze to silver is far more important for Langjan. But silver to gold is still good, right? Like to get 150 bonus damage on Langjan, at silver tier you have to do 3 fights and win them all. At gold tier you have to do 2 fights and win them all, right? So you're scaling much, much faster. I've never seen this pony in the middle.
crucial to
What the hell is that? Argenta. Silver skills. Makes sense.
understand early on.
Yeah, we didn't have a... Or did we? I don't think we had a silver skill merchant.
Have you guys thought about like how often you're gonna do balancing as well? Like if you need it.
Yeah, we've thought about it. Right now, I mean, very often is the answer. Exactly what the schedule ends up being, I don't know. I'm trying to find a way to do it live. Like, so you guys are playing and drafting cards, and we can change the numbers on stuff live, and then the merchants are dealing the cards with the updated numbers, but the ones you already have are like the old one. You know what I mean?
That's
Oh,
crazy.
So like you're changing the numbers while you're going through your run.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
That is absolutely crazy. I have no idea how they'll figure that out.
We'd be balancing.
I guess they would, right? Like if you attach like a version number, like a patch number to every card. So like if this was Life Preserver 1.0 and you bought it and it was 10 shielding and the first time you would die you get 200 healing, right? And then they patch it because it's actually, you know, broken OP or something. Maybe it's so broken OP to have the first time you would die thing. Like, so they want to take that out completely and just buff it. So they want to make it shield, I don't know, 30, but the passive is completely gone. You would have Life Preserver 1.0 that had this exact ability, and then the next time someone else would see it, it would sell them Life Preserver 2.0. So I kind of get the concept. I just have no technical ideas how they would figure that out.
I kind of want to avoid downtime in the long. I'm not saying that's how it'll work day one. That's not how it's going to work in closed beta, but long term, I would love to treat it like a living game that we're just editing in real time.
Okay,
That's great.
That'd be actually incredible if you guys can pull that off. That sounds very, very difficult. Okay.
So it's Ramrod and Illusory as well.
This item actually looks really, really good. Adjacent items.
Reload adjacent ammo items by 1 and haste them.
The ammo thing is actually like a really.
Yeah, they are. He is running out of ammo.
Good against like combo builds. You could finish them early before they get going. But if they have a ton of health, like you're fighting a tank, you could run out of ammo. That's kind of the drawback.
So they're all catered towards, like, they're not, like you said earlier, you can do any build you want, but they are biased towards like a specific type of build generally.
Kind of, yeah. Every character has its own identity. So yeah, Pygmalion's like tankier, more health, more like economy focused items. Vanessa's more like aggressive, about a bunch of aquatic synergy, ammo, that kind of stuff. And Dooley has a bunch of combo stuff. But yeah, basically we're gonna keep releasing new heroes. Every hero has a completely different set of 100 cards that you're drafting from, on top of all the neutral cards. And so all the heroes play differently just because the cards are
I shouldn't just be letting Reynad talk about this shit, but
you can't
yeah.
really do, like, I'm gonna call it expansions, like what normal card games would do. Will you be adding like more cards for each character as the game gets
This is
older?
important.
Yes, but pretty rarely. So we're doing this thing called card packs where we add 10 new cards for a hero every once in a while, on top of the base 100. So come January, when we fully launch, there will be 2 card packs per month coming into the game. So 20 new cards. So 1 pack per hero. So basically, if you're playing Vanessa, she'll have like 100 cards that you're drafting from at the start of the first year. After a year, she'll have like 120. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Will you be doing like a rotation as well, or is it just?
No, that's the part that's different. I've never seen a game do this. All the content in this game is cumulative. So we just keep adding stuff. We never take stuff out. And so every card in the game becomes rarer to find over time.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if you've seen Yu-Gi-Oh!
I love that.
Hopefully, you guys learned from what happened over there, but it doesn't seem like it would be the same thing because you're not building a deck.
Yeah, constructed versus draft, right?
Exactly. I feel like all these items.
Yeah, it's honestly the draft thing, right? So long as it's cumulative. So, how do I say this? Bazaar in 5 years' time, there are 300, let's say 500, let's just blow it out of the water. There's 500 Vanessa items, right? So you are very, very, very rarely going to see Langjan. However, within that 500 items, there are at least 2 or 3 among them that fulfill a similar purpose to Langjan. It's a low tier item, you can get it day 1, scales off of, maybe not fighting, maybe it scales off of merchants. But it still fulfills a similar purpose, right? It's just slow scaling item that if you keep with you throughout the entire run will kick ass. So while it might be harder to find every single individual weapon, the Bazaar already has some redundancies within its builds, right? You saw as he was hovering over shit. Beach Ball is a haste item. But so was the Captain's Wheel we saw before that. Dock Lines is a slow item, but so is Illusory that we saw before that. In fact, both of them are good at slowing multiple items. Part of this is because you want to build up a build that has synergy. So, maybe you do want Beach Ball and Captain's Wheel. So you're doing lots of hasting because you have an item that's doing something when haste happens, right? Maybe you have the same thing with slow. That's why you want Dock Lines and Illusory. So the Bazaar naturally wants them as designers to build synergy, to build redundancy, although it's really a really harsh way, a really horrible way of saying build synergy. But because they're building synergy, you might not find the exact item you want, but you'll find something like it. And I don't guarantee it'll be like that when there's 500 cards for every hero, but it should be very,
I don't really want to spend
very
money
close
on
to it.
this, I think, just because we don't have the carpet space. What do you think?
Yeah, you're kind of broke. I mean, I would skip these.
All right, we're level 3.
So we've got a 3, 4, and a 5.
Other right?
Not normally, but she's actually kind of weak to weapon builds. She has this item called Force Field, deals damage equal to how much shield you have, and so if you're whittling it down,
I love Force Field. So I was saying this earlier. Anyone that was paying attention, I was talking about Pygmalion shield builds, right? Or not Pygmalion, shield builds in general. If you have a big shield build, poison counters you, right? Because poison ignores shield completely and eats away at your health. But if you go to the Eccentric Aetheryte, defeat her, and get her item, the Force Field, that turns your shield into damage. So if you go against a poison build, and they're eating away at your health, but never touching your shield just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, so your Force Field weapon does more and more damage. It's
risky.
It's great.
I don't know.
Also, if you're running a poison build, never fight the Eccentric Aetheryte.
For about the left too, I'd say.
She will kick your
I
ass.
definitely want to win the fight, so I'll go with these two.
Yeah, that's a good point from Rarran. You do want to win the fight with Langjan. With Langjan, winning the fight is probably more important than almost any reward you could get from it. Like, you want to fight the higher tier ones if you can for the gold. But honestly, the difference between 3 and 5 gold, so 2 gold, would you pay 2 gold to add 75 damage to your Lang Zhan? Probably. If that's the case, then take the easy fight.
Like the skill is something more. I feel like that's very important.
Yes, there will be an in-game Pokedex, not in beta, but like in January, and then you can like click the icon and it'll just pull up the page for that character. You can see its build, everything.
Interesting. Okay, so the whole spiel I gave about this becoming like a knowledge thing that you need to learn, you absolutely don't. There'll be a Pokedex eventually. But for the closed beta, those of you nerds out there who can learn every item that every NPC has will have an advantage. What does this little dagger do? The Tazidian dagger? Is Tazidia? Or Tazid? Or Tazi? Is Taz something where Mac's from? Because this is a Mac item, right? There's a Mac next to it. It's a small weapon every 4 seconds, deal 5 damage. Adjacent potions have +1 ammo. We don't have any potions, but...
I don't like that tooltip. We shouldn't be referencing junk. He's a weird merchant. He has like monster loot. He has neutral bronze items.
It should sell. It should say neutral.
He's interesting.
Okay.
Curio sells neutral items.
Oh, he's got a lot to pick from too.
And they are fantastic.
Yeah, he's the purveyor of the junkyard, so he's got a bunch of monster crap. And
yeah, so most of these you can find off of monsters. We saw this scrap on an enemy player at some point. We obviously got the spider ourselves. Like, most of this shit you can get from monsters, but it's random when you get it from monsters. When you go to Curio, you can buy exactly the one that you need if he shows you them. There are also just so many.
Buff your items a lot of times.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I got this whole. There's so much decisions here.
I'm sorry, it's a little bit choice paralysis when all the cards are new. It's I promise
it is
you
for sure.
have to learn the card the first time.
I will say, if you're getting choice paralysis in this game, just pick whatever looks cool. Just go for it. You're gonna lose eventually, but it should average out. You should get like 3-4 wins.
I don't have to think about that. Very interesting. We don't really have.
Man, I can't wait to be playing
Anything
again.
that you would pick?
You see knee brace? Okay, this is gonna look weird.
Really? Reynad is a knee brace player?
On the left,
I did not expect him to be a knee brace player. So if this is on your board at the start of each day, gain plus 100 maximum health, which would be, we're at 400 now, so 500, that's a pretty big increase. But the cooldown of all your items are increased by 1. Increasing and decreasing cooldowns by a specific time, there's an entire mechanic called Charge, which Dooley's core focuses on, about skipping cooldown time. Because haste just makes things charge faster, and slow just makes things charge slower. Actually skipping or increasing cooldowns is devastating in this game. So I have not had much luck with knee brace. I think I used it once, and I lost the fight, so I got rid of
You're
it.
bored at the start of each day. 100 max health.
He's also Lang Janning, so he doesn't want to lose any fights.
Yourself, but you get a little more tanky. I don't think you get that much weaker by slowing yourself down a little because you don't have that many items.
Yeah, so I can see it here because Lang Jan's already so slow.
Until the player fights.
Adding 1 second to a 10-second item is not that bad.
Very interesting. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm done.
Normally for Vanessa, adding 1 second to your cooldowns sounds dreadful.
Abandoned chests and aquatic items. Do we have any aquatic items at the moment? Not
No.
really. So let's go to the lost crate.
So the abandoned chest is golden XP or a small or medium item.
Smaller medium item. Gold in the XP is nice because at the end of this we will get an additional XP, and I believe.
Yeah, so he'll level up if he takes that.
Seems somewhat relevant. I'm kind of down for that. And our carpet gets bigger, so we don't have to remove anything for the brace. See, like when I did the tutorial run, I picked this every single time. This was
Lose 10% max health, your weapons gain 10 damage and crit
It's
chance.
also just like with Vanessa, right? You're not getting tanky, so as long as you're like.
But you
not
are getting
scared
tanky.
Buying like health items, this is like phenomenal, right?
Yeah, as long as you're not like her aquatic build, it's gonna be pretty good.
So we're gonna add this in, I guess.
I do like it.
God, this is
Performs. Trust me.
Alright, let's see how he does.
I love the username.
Yeah, subscribe. Yo, someone took Rarran, dude. I need to get it.
Someone took Rarran. That was one of you guys, I bet.
Alright, hold on. Maybe we can.
You're gonna change it and make a run?
Well, then I'm like, just despite that guy, I don't know. It seems rude, man.
It's fine. It's fine.
Rare in 27. It's inevitable on Tom.
Okay. 27.